Hello and welcome to these videos on mindfulness. My name is Ikela Moniz-Lewis and I'm here by way of the Inner Resilience Network. And I'm here just to share with you some practices on mindfulness, some thoughts and discussion on mindfulness and how it might be helpful. The intention for this video is just as an introduction, a real short 5-minute video here, just to kind of introduce these practices that will follow this video and kind of give a little bit of guidance around how to work with them. Before I begin, I just do want to state, though, I am not a formal teacher of any kind. I'm just a graduate student in a clinical psychology PhD program who has the opportunity to study mindfulness and its use for addictive behaviors, and also just to share these in a therapeutic context with different clients and people I work with, and also someone who's engaged with these practices over the last 8 years of my life in a way that's felt very meaningful and beneficial for me. And so that's why I'm here to share it with you. I find it to be worth my time and worth yours. But I do want to start off by saying that if any of this doesn't ring true for you, it doesn't feel helpful, that's okay. It's completely fine. These practices come from a deeper wisdom tradition, in which is just one of countless others. And so there's so many practices out there. This might not be the one for your mind and your body right now. But if you have the slightest inclination and the smallest bit of curiosity to explore this, I invite you in, and I welcome you in whatever state of body and mind you find yourself in. And I just want to note that it just started thunderstorming outside, and so there might be some background noise. And I'm just noticing some joy around that. But to continue on with the video, what the heck is mindfulness? It's really just, in a nutshell, there's a lot of definitions for it, but the one I'll offer is just a non-judgmental awareness of your present moment experience. That's all. So what does non-judgmental mean? It means not adding any story or narrative or valence to whatever we're experiencing. So naturally, as human beings, we're storytelling and meaning making. And so when we have an experience, it's very natural for us to label that experience as right or wrong or good or bad, or it should happen or it shouldn't happen. With mindfulness, we're just doing our best to drop underneath that, to be with the raw present moment experience before our mind so naturally adds all the judgment and thinking and storytelling around it. With mindfulness, we're just trying to let that be, so that we can be here with things as they are in the present moment. Not if in the past, not in the future, right here. There's a beautiful poem that I love that ends with the line that says, "Peace is not to be found in the past or the present, but in the path that cuts through the center of the heart." And that's what I'm hoping to convey just a little bit of through these videos. And just a little bit as to why this can be helpful. As human beings, we live on autopilot a lot of the time. We get from point A to point B without really being there for that full process, and that can be really helpful, especially in the demanding culture as US Americans, at least I live in. But sometimes it can be really unhelpful, particularly because it can result in us engaging in behaviors or saying things or even thinking things that don't align with our deepest values of who not only we wish to be, but who we know we are internally. So mindfulness can really just be an opportunity to become aware of those things, allow them to become noticed, and then to work with that in a wholesome way. And that next piece is, there's a lot to that, so I'll pause on that for now. The other thing too is, not only does living in automatic pilot or autopilot result in us maybe engaging in behaviors or things that we don't feel so great about, but it also can result in us really missing the sweet and the nourishing parts of our life that's impermanent and our life that's going to end. And so given that things are going to end, it seems to matter that we should savor the things that show up, like the sound of the thunder outside. And just let it settle in there. so it doesn't just fade by. And so just a few pointers before I close this video. One, I'm not sharing this as a self-improvement technique. There are people out there, I think, who present mindfulness in this way, and so, to each their own. But really, my deepest intention with this is really as an opportunity for you to get to know the mind and body that you have, in the context that you have it. And to most importantly, hold that with some kindness and some gentleness. Just to be with yourself just as you are. And this is a practice. It's easier said than done. And it's important to do it. It's a practice. Like anything else, shooting a free throw, playing guitar. The more you practice something, the better you get at it. And so the more you practice mindfulness, the more naturally it'll arise for you. And the whole point of this thing is not to have a formal sitting practice where you can sit an hour long every day. The real thing is just to practice this in some context so that when you're out there living your life in the relationships that you have, doing the work that you find meaningful and important, you can be there for it. And in being there for it, hold yourself and others and the whole world we find ourselves in with some awareness, and most importantly, some kind, gentle awareness. And to close, I'll just say again, peace is not to be found in the past or the present, but in the path that cuts through the center of the heart. And if I didn't believe that peace was possible for you and for me, in our minds and our bodies that we have, I wouldn't be sharing these with you. And so I invite you to give them a try. See if they work for you. Bring a critical, curious, inquisitive mind, and see what results. I'm gonna go enjoy the thunderstorm outside. And I hope you enjoy these practices and the rest of your day. Maybe well.